The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
And the Excel Center. Actually, this is the site of the Minnesota High School State Wrestling Championships. We're talking wrestling at the Super Bowl now, talking with Steve Rowe, the Associate Athletic Director in charge of communications at the great University of Iowa. They know a little bit about wrestling. They know a little bit about football. For you, it's got to be exciting to be down here to see some of the former players representing, the Hawkeyes, but their NFL teams here in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's always great to see your guys go on to have great careers, whether it's in the NFL or whether it's in business or whatever it might be. So to see three of our former players with the Patriots, a great organization, obviously, but three young guys having a great year, and it sounds like they really enjoy being together with the Patriots.
And in some situations, when you look at if the Vikings would have won, you'd have had Riley Reif in here playing as well, because he's had a great career out of South Dakota, now coming to Iowa, and then playing here locally with the Vikings. But as your career has unfolded and you've seen player after player after player go into the NFL and get this opportunity, where do you draw a sense of pride in being able to have been able to tell these stories over the years of these kids who become great athletic behemoth men?
Well, you just, I think like any coach would probably tell you, when you see these guys when they come in as freshmen and how much they have to learn and how much they have to grow, and then they go through 4 or 5 years at the University of Iowa, the strength and conditioning program, whether it be the success of the football team or just the campus and the university, anybody that goes on to success in the NFL, it's a tough job. And to see these guys do that, with Cole and Riley both, being undrafted free agents. James has had to work his way up. So these are real success stories, guys that have really had to work their way up. And Riley, like you mentioned, Riley Reif, and don't forget Jaleel Johnson here, too, playing in Minnesota from the Iowa program. So it's always good, like people ask me if I have a favorite NFL team, and probably like our coaches, I'm a fan of all of our players that are in the NFL.
So if you were drafted a fantasy football team that included a lot of offensive linemen and things of that nature, you'd definitely be biased and pick a lot of Hawkeyes.
It'd be a great place to start, no doubt, for sure.
When you look at the course of what college athletics is and how it's kind of been a springboard in some sports for the NFL and the NBA, and then you've got a great Iowa program, wrestling-wise, which has been a springboard to the Olympic movement with so many Olympians that have represented the United States. What are the similarities and differences you've seen in being able to promote those programs and those individuals from a communication standpoint?
Well, I think it starts with the overall program, the culture of not only of winning on the wrestling mat or on the football field or basketball, whatever it might be, but having good kids in the program, good kids that work hard. I mean, Iowa kids are known for that from their upbringing within the state of Iowa or around the Midwest, but overall just kids that know what hard work is. And that certainly, I never wrestled, but wrestling has to be one of the hardest sports you can ever go through, and trying to make it as a professional football would be the same thing. So hard work, stick to it, and be a good guy.
When it comes to this type of media circus here with the Super Bowl, how many of these have you been to? And the opportunities. I mean, how does it unfold for college communications to get credentialed for things like this?
Well, this is the first one I've been to. It just kind of worked out that we have some former Hawkeyes playing for the Patriots. Two, it's close enough to Iowa City that we were able to drive up here for the day. We just have the one-day pass. We won't be here all week or anything like that. So just came to talk to our guys and get some good stories for our content and talk about Iowa football.
We like to talk about Iowa wrestling. What's the excitement in? Obviously coming off the loss to Michigan, it's a little stings, but you guys live and die by sports down there at Iowa. I mean, so when you're coming off a win, you're coming off a loss. What's the mood like in the administrative side of things?
I think you're always looking, like a lot of coaches, again, I'll tell you, you have to look forward. You can't look backwards. Tom has some good young wrestlers on his team. A very close match with Michigan. The week before, Ohio State's a really good team, lost that one. But 2 weeks ago, beat Oklahoma State. So good young guys in the program, some really exciting future for the future of Iowa wrestling. It's in great hands with Tom and Terry Brands. And again, we love Iowa wrestling. the people of Iowa love Hawkeye Wrestling. It's a great sport, and we have a great fan base for it, and it's just great all the time. Big Ten championships and national championships.
And coming up in April, World Cup, after a couple of Olympic trials that have been there. When it comes to international wrestling events, the Olympic trials, and Josh Schamberger and crew at the Coralville, Iowa City Convention Bureau has done a great job, along with your staff and, of course, Chris Brewer in the communications department. When the World Cup comes up and that opportunity is presented itself, I mean, what was the discussions like in the office to say, oh, yeah, we got to go for this?
Well, I think Josh probably headed it up a lot more than we did in our office, but you're absolutely right. We've had the Olympic trials the last 2 times. Great success as far as breaking all the attendance records. The people of Iowa City and the people of Iowa really embrace it. And so this event in April will be more of the same, seeing team wrestling on the international level, seeing the different fan bases from all the different countries coming into Iowa City. It'll be a great atmosphere. It'll be a great experience.
The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. First time listening? Well, you can change that by going to MattTalkOnline.com/GetShortTime to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or listen on your favorite podcatcher at MattTalkOnline.com/listen.
This show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to MattTalkOnline.com.